Hello class, this is a recap of the troubleshooting discussion regarding VoIP. So the scenario was that you were installing a phone within an office that only had one data drop. We're back to that again. And there's a unmanaged switch in the room, or like a hub, that you've plugged, let's say a couple computers and a couple other devices into, and you're supposed to install a VoIP phone. Kind of similar to this one. This one's an older phone than the model described in the scenario, but you're supposed to plug the phone in and provide them with a VoIP phone. Now it's pretty straightforward, you think, because everything's been configured on the network. You have your VoIP VLAN that's been tagged or trunked on all ports. And then you have your data VLAN, which is what your computer is currently using. So you'll unplug your computer, you'll plug the cable into one of the jacks in the back of the phone, and then the other jack will go to your computer. Because these phones come with, they become like hubs in themselves. That's something to keep in mind because sometimes these are only rated at 10/100, not gig. So depending on the model of the phone. And in this scenario, so you've unplugged your computer, you go to the back of the phone, you plug it in, and it is, of course, plugged into the wall jack, and it is, of course, plugged into an unmanaged switch, but in my little mobile IDF here, we're just going to plug it into this switch right there to kind of represent what's happening. And you wait and you expect the phone to light up, but after a little bit, nothing happens. No lights. It's dead. And you think, okay, what should I do to fix this issue? And, one of the troubleshooting things was to make sure that the cable was tight and that the unmanaged switch in that office was powered on and functioning. Well, it is. Your computers and everything had internet access. It's powered on. It's good to go. So some of you suggested making sure that the proper jack on the back of the phone is plugged in. And that was a good suggestion because it's really easy to plug it into the computer jack instead of the network jack on the back of the phone. Not only have I done that before, but I've troubleshooted and ran into that very issue. So you check on the back, you go, okay, cable from the network goes into the network jack, it should be good to go. And still nothing, the phone is still dead. Some of you suggested maybe checking the VLAN and so forth. That really wouldn't affect the power of the phone. That's kind of the key here in this particular scenario. If the VLAN was not configured properly, the phone would power on and then it would just give no service, no Ethernet, something to indicate that it can't communicate on whatever network you've plugged it into. And so in this case, since the phone is not powering on, there's some sort of power issue. And some phones come with, an AC adapter that you can plug into them. In this particular case, these phones are PoE, or Power over Ethernet. And many unmanaged switches and, of course, hubs do not provide PoE. And in this case, this little edge switch right here does not provide PoE either. So that's why this phone is not turning on. So what do you do to remedy that? As some of you stated, you get a little port injector, little PoE device. All right, so it has data. It has data in and data and power out, and then of course you plug it in at the back. So let's plug that in to power. Make sure it lights up. And then we plug from the switch data into the port injector. And then the data and power out side goes to the phone, and we make sure we plug it into the network jack on the back here. Oh, there we go. And it should, booting up, there it goes. Just did its little light up. And it's currently going through the boot up process right now. So if this was really on a real network and the network was configured for VoIP, etc., then this phone would boot up and get to the phase to where it then becomes either available and ready for an extension or would show the extension that it's connected to. So in this particular situation, that was the solution to the issue. Though a lot of you had great ideas for troubleshooting and you would walk through all of those ideas and definitely try some of that stuff out. Keeping in mind again that a lot of these phones are PoE, so whatever they're plugging into needs to provide power as well as data. So you all had great suggestions, great ideas, and great troubleshooting.